Well, the band that you encountered on this production is a different band from the one you produced 2 decades ago.
Yes,
Obviously, I will talk personally of each new members that you worked with,
sure.
Fabio, Marcelo, and Bruno. But in an overall point of view, how do you differentiate the Angra that you worked 2 decades ago and the current Angra on a personal level and on a musical level?
Well, for me, anger was always back then. Kiko and Felipe as my first point of attention when it came to the band. So that means if I had to address any point of anything, I would probably discuss with them first. So I found those guys to be the most important. And I was really amazed to see how Felipe grew into the band to be an extremely stable point of the band. I mean, he writes a lot of songs. He's very, very quick with coming up with ideas. He knows how to do Angra style songs. He knows how to, he's a fan too. He used to listen to Angra. So, it's not like he's was a jazz bass player that had to be put in a metal band or something. He knows what's going on. The other guys, the new guys, they have really added a really, really great element without trying to take Angra somewhere else. And that's really important, I think, because a band takes years to develop themselves or to create their brand, if you want to call it that. And the worst thing that can happen is to get new musicians in the band that try to take it somewhere else that it just is not. You got to be true to your fans. You got to be true to what you're doing and the name of the band. If you want to become a black metal band overnight, do that, but change your name too. So if they want to be Angra, they're going to have to be Angra. So that was very clear. We discussed it, and they've done that, all of them.
And even having produced Angra, 3 albums of Angra, and knowing especially Felipe and Rafael for a long time, did anything that the band brought to the table, oh, this record, surprise you at all or
Oh
impress you
yeah.
at all?
Well, one thing I was actually had okay. Felipe's just gotten better than better. He was great back then, and he's really great now. That I have to say. But Rafael, when we started doing some acoustic guitar recordings, I had to stop the recording and compliment and say, your acoustic playing is fantastic. It's such an improvement. I mean, it's been many years, of course, obviously, but it was really like, wow, this is really enjoyable to record him. He knows what he's doing and it feels good. And we got the sound and the thing we were looking for really, really quick. With no compromises. He didn't have to struggle. I didn't have to look for compromises. It was really, really impressive, really impressive. So I take it he's doing a lot of acoustic stuff. He told me he's doing a lot of stuff on his own with acoustic and he's really playing it. And that surprised me very, very much. Yeah.
Nice. And nice that you talk about Felipe. Well, I can play I'm not a bass player, but I can play the bass. I do my own recordings and I play bass. And this is a non-bass player's opinion. I think Felipe Andreoli is one of the best bass players on the planet. I don't know all the bass players on the planet, but if we do a contest, I'll put my money on Felipe to be on top. I don't know if I'm saying that is wrong, but I want to hear from a pro bass player, one of the best producers on the planet. Am I
I've been
right?
playing,
Felipe is one of the best guys out there.
absolutely. I mean, I've been playing 40 years. Okay, I haven't been that intense of a bass performer as he was. I was always an all-in-one guy doing all kinds of stuff. And I still am passionate about my bass guitar. I love my bass guitar. I like it more than I ever have, as a matter of fact. And I think I've also actually progressed in the last 15 years myself. But back then, when I first recorded with Angra, I think it was 2003, and Felipe was already at a level where it was more than impressive. It was already, I had to compliment him back then too and say, wow, that was just the best thing was not just his playing, it was his discipline in studio because he was young, he was hot, he wanted to show the world what he's got. And every now and then I have to say, hey, I think here's a good spot to just write it out and just give the song what it needs and don't get tricky or fancy. And he would do that. And it was never a discussion. And this is the shit that impressed me very quickly because usually that would be a 2-hour discussion and it just worked with him. And now he comes in the studio and he's better, and he already knows what works and what doesn't work. He might try something before I can go, ooh, I didn't like that. He'll go, nah, we're not doing that. So yeah, he's definitely one of the better ones, not just because of his playing. It's a head thing too. And he's he hasn't sat in for Billy Sheehan for no reason.
Exactly. You're right.